Welcome back, everyone. We do not have the match we expected, so give me just a second. We have
I love it.
Nemo's Ring Control and Brian Bell on Saga Storm.
Can we remove Nemo's ring control from the deck name and just call it ring control? We don't need this on his ego. But we'll move on. So we saw Brian earlier today. He's on Black Saga Storm. Nemo, we haven't seen his deck quite yet. But you know, he's kind of on the delighted halfling, one ring, sweepers type of game plan.
Not Frank on stream, it's Nemo.
So, but we're gonna pull up Nemo's deck list, and this is gonna be fun. Seeing Storm against ring control. And then I can complain about the ring later on. So Nemo.
Shout out to Nemo for his unorthodox deck list being on a Gmail printout. Love you,
yeah.
Nemo. Gotta be different.
Gosh.
Gotta be different, Nemo. Love you. Looks like Brian's
Sad.
starting us off with an Urza Saga. Mishra's Bobble. Urza's Bobble. Mox Opal, which is Puke. Straight into a Duress. We didn't really see what Nemo was on. We will now. Maybe not. That's a pretty... I think with what...
So he takes Force of Negation if he lets it
I think he
resolve.
Nemo Force Negations this.
I think he does too. 3 Brainstorms in your opening hand. You probably...
Nemo's favorite card, let's be honest. No, he
That's
doesn't.
fine. That's fine.
So we see a Halfling, a Swords, Tropical Island, and 3 Brainstorms. Taking the Force Negation is the play. Now the question is, what else does Brian do? He has double Chrome Mox in hand.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I think,
It's still not bad though. I mean, there's tons of
we
things
crack
that
our bobbles
yeah.
and we
I think we wait for the
move
Mishra's
to
Bobble
turn
until the
2.
turn. Yeah. Draws Uro. Uro's pretty good. So he's gonna go Tropical Island,
Halfling.
Halfling.
Yeah.
He's going to come to turn. If he doesn't draw a land, he's going to Brainstorm. Sees the Brainstorm, which we knew about. Doesn't see the Uro, which is great. I don't know if Scott talked about this, but the 4th Aerolingus in Nemo's deck is one of the coolest cards that's got printed in a long time for a shell like Nemo's playing.
Yeah, the shell though is really kind of a new shell, just based off the fact that we have one ring, we have Delighted Halfling. It does put Bant kind of in a different type of control aspect, but we're splashing red for the purpose of 4th, for the purpose of sideboards like Pyroblasts, and
I don't hate this imprint duress knowing that Nemo's hand has the Brainstorms in it, because Brian's really not concerned with what's in his hand until now. I see the fresh Force of Will that Brian doesn't know about. So that's pretty good. Nemo hitting a Prismatic inning there is pretty good if he can hit the mana, but Nemo just Brainstorm locked himself.
Oh no.
Yeah, Nemo just Brainstorm locked himself. That's unfortunate. What are we doing? A Construct.
Yeah,
That's
100%. So Nemo's tilting right now.
I'm sure Nemo is tilting, but Brian is also not exactly closing a game in a really good spot to do it because he doesn't have the hand to do it. But he did draw a Wish Call. That's pretty big.
But Nemo knows that he is dying to either the Constructs here in the near future because he's Brainstorm locked, or we just end up having Storm go off here in the near future.
Yeah,
Nemo doesn't like the... Nemo doesn't like to have the exiled card with the imprint on the battlefield. So he did ask his opponent
to please exile it, and then he grabs his phone because he's angry.
Oh no! Hopefully you're not texting. Are you? Who are you texting? It better be. Oh goodness. All right, so We got LED off the Urza Saga. Oh,
Full view of us. He was texting.
yeah, Nemo's gonna force the Wish Claw, but the issue is that he's staring down the barrel of 2/5/5s.
Yeah, with an LED that just is waiting for anything at that point.
Yeah, Wish Claw would have gotten. So I think we maybe play the second Chromox just to make them 6/6s. No imprint, obviously. Yep. I think that Brian is on that same page, and then we're just really on the beats plan. All right, what do we got? Second land. Oh no, Nemo, I'm sorry. All the brainstorms in the world, and not a second land. Yeah, turn one Delighted Halfling, brings up the thought process of keeping a one lander.
Shout out to
Being
Nemo
on the draw.
too. Shout out to Nemo too for knowing what his opponent's on and keeping that hand, knowing that his opponent usually plays Storm, but that is Nemo not making any assumptions because Brian has brought Delver S decks in here.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
that wasn't a bad hand to take into a blue-red Delver, but Grix is probably not with Halfling.
I think.
I guess this whole point was maybe the Uro play if it was a Grixis shell. That was his kind of mindset to brainstorm out of it, have Uro with the Halfling.
Maybe.
Try to bury his opponent under Uro. Because he has if he was guessing
definitely.
that, yeah.
So I were you thinking that Nemo was guessing what Brian is playing?
Yes.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Because Brian has played other decks in here. Like he's played Mulch, he's played Lands, he's played this Black Saga Storm. He's also played
Brian's been
a Tess. He's also played, the Blue Red Delver.
True. Brian's been busy playing Diablo 4 recently, and so I think coming into a 1K fresh off, I'm putting him on Mono Black Storm.
I would make that assumption too, but Nemo likes to not make assumptions for that. He likes to think outside the box.
Like you said, you're right. But granted, he does play percentages, and that's what making those assumptions is playing the percentage. So Nemo is definitely going to be bringing in a little bit more of your.
So I was looking at
Force
the
of
sideboard
Vigor.
for Nemo, and we got Force of Vigors,
Spell
Piercers, and maybe Surgical. I don't know how I feel about.
I don't like Surgical. Yeah, I don't like Surgical in this unless he's getting tired of getting duressed or thought seized into oblivion. But that just feels bad. I think that. So he's showing 3 cards that he's siding. So maybe a Spell Pierce, maybe 2 Force of Vigors.
I really like Force of Vigor into this.
Yeah. So Nemo's reading 4th Irlingus. This is his first time playing it. I do not mind putting that out there on stream. So he is going through a little bit about what the card does. He's thinking about sideboarding it out. I think that's fine. The other thing though is that getting Monarch maybe while getting an extra card advantage or 2 because he is going to assume that his hand is going to get stripped. Getting Monarch might be useful. But we'll see what. Yeah. So he's taken out 4. He's probably put in the 2 Spell Pierces and 2 Force of Vigors.
I really like Spell Pierce in a Black Saga
Surgical.
Storm.
Okay, so I'm seeing Surgical.
So I like Surgical too. So
Okay.
the reason why I think Surgical is good into this is you can hit a Dark Ritual and then counter Dark Ritual and hit it. So what that does is you're either going to let them...
Urza Saga, Surgical Urza Saga is dope.
Well, Surgical Wasteland is also really big because Nemo is on a pretty gross mana base. It's a little greedy. I mean, we have a Volcanic Island, 2 Wastelands, 2 Tundras.
Playing Mystic Sanctuary
traps.
in a wasteland
Sanctuary
deck.
in this?
Yeah, he's playing a 1 of Mystic Sanctuary.
You're right. There it is.
So yeah, like you said, greedy. But if you Wasteland Urza Saga, like if he mulligans down to 5, his plan is Urza Saga.
I don't know if Brian showed Wasteland, so Nemo also might not be thinking about Wasteland. But Nemo does have a 1 of basic island, forest, and plains, which could be very big with Halfling into this. So like you could have a turn 1 fetch basic forest for Halfling with another fetch in hand and an Uro, and then just come to turn, get your other fetch, and play Uro, and just kind of try to bury off that.
Which
I
is
really
what,
like
what Nemo
focus
wanted
too.
and needed game 1.
Correct.
But,
he really needed that wasteland for the his own wasteland for the Saga.
Yeah. Or just the third land, to the point to where.
Absolutely, shout out to Nemo too for holding it together. Urza Saga. He openly hates the card.
Okay, we've got two. We've got 2 lands. The problem is that we don't have counter magic.
I don't know if I hate this though with the ring for turn 3 ring, but I do think he molds this simply because he knows Brian has a very aggressive deck. So if Nemo keeps this and lands the halfling, then he's gonna have the prismatic ending more than likely stolen out of his hand. He does keep it and does the halfling.
So Nemo's gonna lose the prismatic ending most likely with.
Or Brian opens on Saga to beta wasteland.
Well, the thoughts.
There it is.
Okay. Oh, but we've got Chrome Mox. Okay, so
we also have Haywire Mites.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So there's a bobble.
So Nemo's in trouble.
Correct. So he can do this for a half Haywire Mite, and then drop the Chrome Mox.
So,
but he doesn't want to imprint anything.
Brian also knows that he is playing into counter magic. Nemo doesn't have in hand. So I don't know if Brian wants to play that a little gingerly.
One of the things I really appreciate about the way Brian plays this deck is he's not using that bobble for card advantage. He is very, very distinctly using it for just straight information to know how he can plan his next turn.
Yeah, do I Thoughtseize now? Or
do I Thoughtseize now or after? Yeah. I really like it. There's the Haywire Mite. Harrowite is probably going to be pretty big.
We didn't draw for the bobble. That was needed.
Ending on the Haywire Mite's pretty big. The basic force is also huge because now you don't care if the Savannah gets wastelanded. Shoot. Yeah, not drawing for bobble for Brian is unfortunate. It could have been a soul land to have that Saga online for a construct.
Really interested to see what Brian's top card is on his deck to see how relevant that ends up being.
Here comes the duress. Nemo's gonna show us another ending in 2 rings.
All right, now he's got
definitely take the ending. I agree with that. That way he doesn't lose his mana rock when he plays it.
Ugh.
Here comes the ring. Here comes protection. You gonna immediately draw it or not? He leaves it.
What is this top card?
It was a bobble, so at least it wasn't a soul land to have that Urza Saga immediately on, because that would have been really unfortunate.
So did he put? Let's see. So does Brian have Pithing Needle inside? No. Yeah. So I typically don't see Pithing Needle. He used to play Pithing Needle in it, so he's not anymore. I wonder if you decide on.
It's just unfortunate for Brian that he forced that Haywire Mite out so early, and he was doing it just to make sure that he had an opportunity to
land it,
and now he's might suffer from that for the 1 ring.
Well, having 2 rings in hand though, that even
2 rings
if Brian made that
2 rings is fine if he plays the vault over the Urza Saga turn 1, then he could duress one of the rings. However, you're still having to set yourself up for getting that green source, which he didn't actively have. He could get it off the Urza Saga, which maybe that was his plan. After looking at the hand, not knowing the other prismatic ending, maybe that was his plan, because Nemo did top deck another prismatic ending. So he played the Haywire Mite under the impression that prismatic ending was already gone.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either. I do like the Opal play here.
So he played Haywire Mite not knowing about ending.
Correct.
But he knows he's playing against an ending deck. If you see Delighted Halfling, you're going to assume you're playing against a prismatic ending deck. But I guess at that point, he's okay with ending. Or does he even care about the ring?
Well, he does care about ending on the Haywire Mites.
But I guess what I'm getting at,
ring removal.
But does he care? So
yes, because he gets buried under card advantage by the ring.
Well, no. So if he Thoughtseize and goes,
this is a really good Thoughtseize right now.
Wait a minute, he's pro everything right now. He can't Thoughtseize.
Well, I don't know how to rule that, because let's pause that. Judge.
All right. Interesting. Yeah, we can't Thoughtseize. We can't Thoughtseize into
Yeah, you cannot Thoughtseize into a ring, so Nemo just drew a card that'll more than likely go back when Jared gets there. Please stop drawing, Nemo.
a... Nemo's too
Oh,
fast.
he is too fast.
I wonder if he's pro. Yeah. Okay, so we're rewinding.
It's a little hard to rewind now that Nemo has drawn a card for turn and 2 extra cards off the ring. This is definitely a warning for both players for sure, because it is both players' responsibility to
maintain
board state, which is what that is.
So that changes things. So we got to rewind the push, which obviously he still pushes halfling. The Thoughtseize stays in hand. The Mox Opal is tapped. Vault of Whispers untapped. Okay, that's fine. Oh, Thoughtseize. So Thoughtseize down.
Yeah, so you
So
can't
we end up keep
target.
it. Okay.
I think that's the easiest way to rule this,
I guess
with
that's the way to do
losing the game state with the several cards being
Oh
drawn.
man, this Brainstorm. So the One Ring with Terminus and Brainstorm is so good. And so even if Brian is on the
Saga route.
construct
Yeah.
plan, you know, keeping Terminus, you know, the second card down with the... So he'll end up drawing, which is what Nemo does. We now have Terminus on the top. He's not going to activate Ring. He will lose life, though, on the Ring. So we leave Ring.
I wonder if Nemo even cares about losing life in this matchup, because it's either all or nothing with the way Brian goes. If Brian does go to this construct route like you're speaking of, which it's very likely, that Brainstorm Terminus just ends the game.
Yeah, and so, but Nemo also has Spell Pierce in hand
Yep.
with a Force of Will and Ponder. So he's actually going to just Wasteland, probably Bolt at this point.
To force the construct.
Or we're taking Saga because he doesn't want him to get LED for... Because we know that Brian has Infernal Tutor in hand. Nemo doesn't know that, but he probably does not want us to get LED. He doesn't want Brian to get LED at this point.
I'm with Nemo on that Wasteland. I really like forcing the construct.
Yeah.
It's also a 4/4 construct, though.
So Nemo may actually hold Terminus.
Yeah, because he plays ending. So, I mean, he
So-
has a chance to draw ending in 4 cards next turn. Card for turn and 3 ring triggers.
So, okay.
So here we go. He's going to draw 3 cards now.
We'll trigger.
There's Terminus. So it does trigger Terminus.
So we do have to... Okay. We go ahead.
That was really good. That's not good for Brian. Brian now has to go on this Infernal Tutor route and hope he gets there.
Well, no. So Brian is actually just on play land past turn, maybe Bobble. And he's
Well,
got
I
to draw
meant
into
in general
something
for what
good.
he's trying to do.
True,
It has
true.
to be from this Infernal Tutor.
True. Unfortunately, that Infernal Tutor...
So now Infernal Tutor just got better. So he can Infernal Tutor for another Saga and play the current Saga. This is the line of play that Brian likes to do when
Yeah,
he's
that is good.
feeling like he has to compete for an alternate win con other than killing with tendrils.
True.
So because he has a Saga in hand, he can Infernal Tutor for the Saga because it's a card in his hand. He has to reveal it, but that, I mean, whatever. 2 Sagas is very brutal into what Nemo's doing, but Nemo also has immense card advantage and just needs to hit an arrow. He also drew 4th Aerlingus, which is kind of disgusting here.
A new card to Nemo.
It's really gross because he can go land.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna play another ring.
Yeah.
Game protection.
Yeah.
I like it. He could. I was looking at the lands. 4th Aerlingus.
Sure.
Keep up Spell Pierce.
There we go. Here's the pro token. Love it. Love it.
Couldn't happen to better guys. They're pretty
Yeah.
close with each other, so it's great.
Yeah, you know, one thing I was thinking about, I constantly think about, you know, we're really fortunate with the group of guys that we play with and the group of legacy players that we have here in San Diego. We got a lot of good guys, good players. We're really fortunate to be a part of it. And it's nice when Rockets puts on 1Ks. You know, this 1K today last month they were like, hey, you know what? We don't have anything really going on next month. Let's just throw in, 1K for our legacy group.
Chase and Steve are
Yeah.
great individuals for
Yeah, they're really
throwing that together last minute, and then we have a pretty good legacy.
and they knew
weekly.
we would show up.
Yeah, we knew
They
we'd show up.
would
We
show
have a
up.
good local weekly.
Granted, Nemo was complaining that you and I were
Commentating, yeah.
doing the commentary and not
our
playing,
friendo Nemo was
but-
upset that we weren't
but it's okay.
fish in the pool to play with.
Exactly. Nemo just wants the
Biggest turnout.
biggest turnout, so he gets more winnings.
Shout out to Michelle, who's usually here,
Yeah,
where
so-
she's at an RCQ today.
That's true.
And Zach Miles, who's in the room, who we hopefully have on camera soon.
So that is another good point to where we are by no means a good substitute. Okay, good. So we're finding another Urza Saga with IT, and
Pray that the beats get
if it
there.
resolves, so it does. Oh, interesting. So Nemo. Oh wait, did we? No, he did not pitch for. We still have force.
We do.
Okay, so Nemo's okay with that idea. Granted, we burn one Terminus. We do have Mystic
I
Sanctuary.
don't think Nemo
not
cares.
on quite yet.
I don't think Nemo cares because of the 4th Aer Lingus in his hand. I think that's probably the route he is gonna lean in towards because of force backup.
Well, so
So Brian doesn't have a creature right now, right?
yeah, but,
Nemo could. Oh, that was an insane top deck. That Wasteland is so good right now.
wow. Let's see. Nemo plays 2 Wastelands and has managed to draw both of them.
Yikes! That's just such a good top deck. Here comes the 4th Aer Lingus for 2.
All right, let's make sure he understands this correctly. Okay, good. X is 2. Excellent. We got 2/2 haste tramplers. Good. And he throws out the Monarch token before damage is dealt.
What an assumption. He's a goat.
Yeah. So we go ahead and move to end step. We'll draw for Monarch. Monarch's interesting with Bowmaster, with a Bowmaster meta, but still the card of the
I
image is
really
still-
like
this
the Lord
deck.
of the Rings set for what it's
Yeah.
doing for Legacy.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very upset with Bowmaster. I think Bowmaster does things for decks that haven't really felt like they've had a chance against Brainstorm decks or Monarch decks for a long time, and now we finally have something that fights with it. It does seem a little rude and a little overpowered, so I'm sure we'll find a balance with things coming to the format soon.
So the only thing, granted the card advantage,
Surgical was such a huge card here. He can
What?
Surgical the Wish Call Talisman. He could Surgical the other Urza Sagas, because Brian still has one in his deck to make sure he doesn't get the other Urza Saga.
he doesn't. Yeah.
He doesn't care. I think
think
Nemo's just holding on to it. He's
Nemo
playing
is
very,
just
very
completely-
clean here. I think we cast Ponder. I think we cast Ponder to bait out a Bowmaster if it's in Brian's hand, because Brian's not playing it. So
So-
Nemo doesn't know that.
So I think that
Nemo wouldn't assume that Brian wouldn't play Bowmaster in a mono black deck. So I think you'd play Ponder to bait it out.
I think you play Ponder for your own info, but drawing for Monarch, drawing for the ring, it almost doesn't even matter. Oh wait, hold on. Before we draw, hold on. We got Force of Vigor in hand.
What are we?
So
He hits
before
the Uro. That's,
so before we
that's
draw,
massive.
hold on. I think Nemo's gonna stop things. For a
Nemo
second.
still needs to. This is main phase 2, I believe.
No. So upkeep. So
Oh,
we're,
upkeep.
we're currently in
upkeep.
upkeep.
He
and
drew
so
in his upkeep.
He's probably
okay.
getting That Brian's
Okay.
seen enough.
That makes a little
That's-
more sense that he drew with the ring in Brian's upkeep.
So drawing infinite amounts of cards is Nemo's checking out the setup. Drawing infinite amounts of cards is good. It's crazy that in, let's say, a Bowmaster meta, that is actually doable, but the One Ring allows that.
Nemo's ready
Plain
to sell me a
swords.
1999 Toyota right after this match. He's prepping for it.
I guess. So, Brian being on the play, he's going to want something explosive. He doesn't want to go to too many turns against Nemo. Nemo just getting that advantage and that protection ends up being bad. I don't know really what you want to put besides something like an expedition map. Haywire Might's fine.
What does Expo Map solve here? Because
I
Nemo
think finding the
runs
Urza
Wasteland.
Sagas. I think that just the idea of
So I like that idea, but Brian also knows now that Nemo plays Wasteland. So I mean, what's with
what he
with all
does.
this card draw and card selection? Does it matter?
I think a fifth Urza Saga I think is completely fine with the expedition map, but you're right in regards to actually do I just mulligan to a hard dark grit, Thoughtseize,
Ad nauseam hand.
Wishclaw
Yeah.
type of plan. But that I think that's just the dream that all Storm players have and always wish that they have. But you need it more playing against a turn 1 Delighted Halfling into turn 2 Uro or Teferi into the One Ring next turn. So that's tough.
It's really odd too. The Nemo's running 2 Teferis and not more, but I guess you do have to make space for the One Ring.
Well, the Bowmasters now I do think makes Teferi worse. Even though the ability to bounce, the impetus or the bouncing effect.
So
with
I
Teferi.
like your mindset, but we always forget that Teferi doesn't have to be down ticked. He can be up ticked. So you can go turn
Definitely.
2. You can go turn 1 Halfling, turn 2 Teferi, uptick and come to turn. And it's really difficult to get rid of that Teferi after that, because then you can freely draw that card, and a Bowmaster can't be flashed in because of Teferi.
So the ring control decks, the dream is Teferi, One Ring, looping, type of aspect. And so Bowmaster hopefully shuts that down a little bit more, but
You have to actually land the Bowmaster. And
if you're not, and if you're not playing rings,
I actually think Bowmaster is bad into Teferi with that loop, because it opens yourself up to getting Prismatic Ending at instant speed, swords.
Sure. But I mean, anything we're doing.
So you're not gonna bounce the ring and replay it with a Teferi out, with a Bowmaster out. You're gonna Prismatic Ending or swords the Bowmaster first, then do it.
Right.
So I really just with the ring itself, I just think Teferi is still good into Bowmaster. You just have to figure out when to plus and when to minus.
Sure. So like last night, me trying 4-color control, no ring. I was playing a 1 of Teferi. I think that it ends up being. Now we played last night. It ended up being good. But in a Bowmaster meta, I think without the ring, I don't think Teferi is as good. But still.
I just think Teferi with Halfling is just very easy to do well with.
Yeah.
Because you turn to it, you plus it to 5, and then you're not really worried about the following turn unless they just have some form of odd removal. Because like flashing in a Bowmaster, pinging Teferi to 4, like sure, you make it to where the Teferi can't immediately draw, but you can just go plus Teferi and then instant speed Prismatic Ending.
So
it's really good.
So what's going on here? So
it looks like Brian is taking a mulligan.
But it also looks like there's something wrong with... What happened? Because Brian was looking at his sideboard as if he drew a 7 and saw like...
No, I think he was
incorrect.
I think he mulled and was frustrated with the mull.
Okay.
I think he was frustrated with how close the hand was.
I see. That makes sense.
That was his...
wow. So I see IT, I see LED, I see Duress, I see Mox Opal, I think Vault, Swamp. That looks like a really good hand.
Yeah, Brian's one of those players when he has something pop up like that, he likes to brush it off before he actually starts the game.
So I think we bottom... Oh, okay. Interesting. So we bottom the bobble. So I think he's waiting for turn 2.
Correct.
But we'll end up seeing what the Duress or the Thoughtseize shows.
I like Duress here a lot.
Yeah. We talked earlier about the Thoughtseize or Duress.
It's a little different deck. Nemo is very very heavy on the Sorcerer's Instance, whereas Ninja's very creature heavy.
So the problem with bottoming... Oh, wait, no. Mox Opal's on. So
Correct.
LED, Mox Opal, now we...
Correct. Nemo wanted full vision before he goes.
Let's get rid of that Ponder, and let's go.
Now we
thought. I like
this.
This. Very good. Very good. That's super nice.
Very good.
All right, so this top deck is going to have to be really good. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now we're sitting with 2 rings and lands. And this is really kind of the... Nemo's playing 4 rings.
That is an unfortunate Haywire Might, because he can't just
doesn't matter.
freely Infernal Tutor. It does matter. He can't freely Infernal Tutor now. He needed something like a bauble to empty his hand and just Infernal Tutor. Now he has to cast the Haywire
I
Mine
see what you're
and
saying.
spend
Yeah,
another
true.
turn to do it.
That's true. That's
so
true.
that is unfortunate for Brian.
So
Otherwise, it could have been just.
So
go all
Brian,
in.
you're right. So Brian now assumes that we could have drawn into 2 blue cards, one of them
Correct.
being Force of Will.
Correct.
All right, good. So
Here comes the
Nemo
Ponder.
somehow gets into
A
his
third Ponder. Sees Force Prismatic Inning
Oh,
Tundra.
no.
That's a really,
no.
really good.
Well, so not good now, you know.
Well, no, you're gonna. Does he have the blue card in hand?
He does. So we end up oh no, does
So
he
I think
have
you
white
take
mana?
Force. He has the white.
He's got
lands.
white.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has to take Prismatic Ending and he has to
Correct.
hit LED.
Correct. And then I think he puts Force. No, it doesn't matter when he puts Force.
Man, that Haywire Might, you're right, was so bad.
It was bad because then he could have just freely Infernal Tutored. He needed it to be a land or any of his 0 drops to just drop it in freely Infernal Tutor with the Opal and Vault Whispers. Nemo's really thinking about this real hard.
But you know what? He has to play assuming that is an Infernal Tutor.
I mean, I would agree with that.
Oh, so he
Ooh,
hits
hitting
Opal.
Opal's good. Hitting Opal's good.
Yep, I think it was still LED.
I agree
But Nemo,
with
but
the LED,
Nemo, yeah, but Nemo's, like, we all know how good of a player.
he really is. That Thoughtseize isn't that bad. He can Vault the Whispers. It's not great, but now he's gonna hit the because Nemo tucked the Force.
But it doesn't matter. We don't.
It
have a
doesn't.
second.
We don't have. So Brian needs to rip really well here.
Land. That's what Brian needs.
There it is.
All right, that's.
So here's an Urza Saga.
Let's trigger the Urza Saga. Hopefully Nemo doesn't hold him to that. So
Why
he's
did he not
playing
Infernal
into
Tutor?
it. Interesting.
Oh, because he doesn't have the Mox Opal anymore for Burning Wish into Echo Veons. Echo Veons is not main board, so he needed to be able to go because that's why Nemo got rid of the Mox Opal. That was a good. Now he doesn't have the colored mana.
We still didn't even have Burning Wish mana at that point. So
he could have done it for Burning Wish to hand and then cast Burning Wish the following turn for Aeon and then cracked. It still gives Nemo a turn to get rid of the LED, but now he can't do anything like that at all because he doesn't have the Opal for red. So he would have went Infernal Tutor for Burning Wish, held it, and then the following turn cast Burning Wish on Echo and then echoed. It was really good on Nemo to get rid of that Mox Opal because it shut him off red mana.
That's a good point. So, shoot, the pro aspect of the One Ring at this point
Really
is
good.
so good.
And Nemo also shut him off of removing with the Haywire Might. Haywire Might exiles, which the ring can't get around getting exiled. But that's not an option with the current situation. However, Brian can get that with the Urza Saga trigger next turn if he gets around. So here goes the Infernal Tutor. Maybe he just does it now.
Well, actually, so the interesting thing is...
Oh, so we are cracking. So we're just going straight for it. We're going Burning Wish, Echo Veons. No, we're not going... Yeah, we're going Burning Wish, Echo Veons. I'd be really surprised if he doesn't. So we have 3 black for sure. That's what he's representing, right? I wonder what he's trying to do.
Force of Will.
So he gets green and gets rid of the ring. Why did he crack both LEDs? Oh, he's under the impression that Infernal Tutor wasn't going to be countered. That's why he cracked both LEDs.
All right, so we have...
This isn't looking good for Brian. Brian's not going to be able to make a construct now that he doesn't have the mana, so he's going to fetch with a mana floating off the Saga. What's he get with Saga? I honestly have no clue at this point. Because Mox Opal's not online. Expo Map's not bad.
So he top decks. So here's the 5th Urza Saga. And
The question is the Saga good enough with Nemo's field? Nemo hits an Uro, and I think this game is over. That's unfortunate that he had the Force Pitch card that we knew about, but Brian didn't, which is why he cracked both his LEDs. But Brian was definitely going to go straight for the Infernal Tutor into the Burning Wish, into the Echo Veons, and just cast it. Or Adnaz.
Yeah, I don't know.
Burning Wish, Adnaz, or not Infernal Tutor, Adnaz with mana floating. Like there was definitely some good lines that he was going to chase.
He was just pro that turn with the One Ring.
So the opal or the opal, the lotus petal is an okay draw. I wonder if Brian's gonna commit.
Okay, so he's not casting the Infernal Tutor.
No. I wonder what he's waiting for. So he sanctuaried the ponder on top. That's huge. That's gonna allow him to see a ton of cards. He has a Savannah in hand, I believe, is what I've seen. We pondered into Loam, Halfling, Uro. Kind of like this.
No. Is that Uro?
I believe
thought
it was
a land.
Uro. No, it's Uro. Maybe
I
it
thought
is a
that's
land.
Misty. That's Misty.
I can't really see with the way he's holding it as he was shuffling.
And it's foil.
So it's
and it's Japanese. I can't see it. I don't even know what that card does, Nemo.
Oh, Nemo. No, it's definitely not Uro if he's shuffling it away. He would have slammed Uro.
Yeah, it's not.
Did we just draw Uro? We drew Uro.
No, that's Loam. So
Oh, we got Loam back. All that stuff looks so familiar from this angle, or looks so
yeah.
similar from this angle.
And he didn't want Loam on that draw, that's for sure. All right, what do we do?
I mean, Loam is really good here if he
Wow,
top decks a
that's
Wasteland.
That's a good top deck.
Loam is very good here if he top decks Wasteland. You know Nemo, he's very good at top decking.
Don't get me started.
Man plays the field all the time on that top deck. Godlike hands.
Stop.
So now we're going in our deck. We're getting LED.
Sure, fine.
The question is here, does Brian have Burning Wish?
Nemo knows how naked he is and has been for the past few turns, and unfortunately Brian just hasn't been able, ever since that Force of Will on the IT.
You know, I give it to Brian for playing this so cleanly.
Yeah.
He still has a mana floating. Question is, what's he got?
Yeah, so he ITs.
So now he's going to Infernal Tutor for...
Yeah.
For what, though?
We can
3
add
black.
Nos. We can add Nos. We can add
Yeah,
Nos.
we can add Nos. He's at 18. It's really
and
healthy.
Nemo knows if this is a good add Nos, we're in trouble. Yep. Resolves. Alrighty, so Brian needs a good... Ugh, poor Nemo is F6'd.
Yeah, he really needed that loam to be something better.
And even if the loam was better, like you said, Urza.
No, I mean the
Wasteland.
card. The card to be
You're
better.
right. You're right. And he for some
absolutely
reason,
needed a Wasteland to get
threw
rid
it
of
back.
the Saga.
He shuffled. He saw it in his 3.
Wasteland
on the ponder.
did?
No, the loam.
Oh,
so he
yeah.
saw it in his 3 off the ponder. He shuffles and he draws ponder.
Yeah,
or he draws loam,
to get
and
it
that's
back. Yeah,
tough.
he needed a Wasteland.
That is really tough. 1.
So 2,
We're
3,
at 16. We're at 15. We're at 14.
14, 13.
Oh,
This is an
man.
absolutely cracked.
Oh, okay. Now we're dead.
Yeah,
So
the
sorry.
game's
So
over.
now Nemo's pretty much. But all these 0 drops, we can keep going forever. Hitting the 2/2 drops, so we should be at 1, 2.
So he made a
3, 4,
land
5,
drop
6,
already,
7,
and
8,
that's
9,
not all the way relevant, but it's
11,
gonna come up. So that
12,
2 does nothing.
13. So we're at 5.
So we have double Chrome Mox with easy imprints. We have a Dark Ritual. We have a Lotus Petal and 2 Wish Call Talismans. 3 Wish Call Talismans. 3 Wish Call Talismans. This
16,
game is for sure over.
10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, we're at 5. Oh yeah, he stopped. Okay.
So there's 2 Dark Rituals
So
there.
Nemo's already.
Chrome Mox doing one of the Talismans, or a Cabal Ritual. That's pretty
I
worthless.
think Nemo was just ordering lunch when he picked up his phone.
I mean, I'd be ordering lunch too. It's
I
getting
think-
about that time, and this is the moment where your opponent makes or breaks you.
And
Oh, and he hit the Mox Opal. I didn't even see the Opal. 'cause
oh
it was
no,
buried.
we've got so much.
Yeah,
mana.
Nemo is very dead. Here goes a Ritual. Another Ritual.
So wait a minute. Did he tap Chrome Mox for mana?
To cast Dark Ritual.
No, I know, but how did we imprint?
He imprinted by getting rid of.
Oh, it's in his hand.
Yeah,
He plays it like it's exiled.
correct.
But
He
it's
had it in his hand.
He did imprint. You're right. Oh man, we are.
Chrome Mox for 0,
Oh,
or for nothing, not 0. Now we just go get Infernal Tutor, or I guess we.
that's fine. He
what do
knows.
we-
He knows.
oh,
he's got
imprinting,
to-
imprinting.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think he's just making sure he.
No, he's playing it straight. And Nemo's just letting him. Nemo knows he's super dead. We can find Dark Rid off this first Wish Claw.
You don't even need to find anything off the Wish Call other
Nah,
than Tendrils.
I'm
At this
just
game, at this
saying.
point, it's over. He's at Storm 13. This will be 14 when he plays this Opal.
Poor Nemo.
Now he duresses to no, and the game is over.
Yep. Well, he knew it was it. We're duressing for storm count, but yeah, poor Nemo ended up.
That's unfortunate.
He just drew into air.
Brian also drew into air a few of those times because Brian went all in on some of those lines,
you're
and Nemo
right.
had answers.
Yeah, but the Brian did strip out the two pond. So Nemo had two ponders.
Yeah,
in
those
opening
strips are
hand,
brutal. Those are very brutal to be stuck with just 2 rings and lands.
The Thoughtseize,
The thoughts,
the duress.
Thoughtseize duress to take both ponders,
Turn
and then
one.
Nemo drew another ponder, which almost got him out from underneath there. I give it to both of them because Nemo kept that composure too after being double stripped with just rings and lands, drawing another ponder and feeling like he was still in the game.
He had actually had.
I also give it to Nemo for
a window
prismatic inning that Opal
as opposed to LED.
as opposed to LED because it was really huge that he didn't have the colored source for the removal on the Haywire Might. He didn't have the colored source for Infernal Tuning, for Burning Wish, for Echo Beyond's cracking LED, and echoing. It's really good. Well played by both of them.
That was a good match.
Definitely was a good match.
love seeing these players that, obviously Nemo's a good player. Obviously Brian's a good player.
Very comfortable on that deck.
And
He's very comfortable.
even
with
more
Saga Storm.
comfortable in a Storm build. And seeing these guys duke it out is always entertaining. So, all right, guys.
That'll be it for this round. We'll see you back for round 4.